Good day and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Today is the first Wednesday of 2026, and on that note, here is a motivational acronym to help you get started on the goals you plan to achieve. W for winning, E for effort, D for discipline, N for nurture, E for execution, S for stewardship, D for dedication, A for alignment, and Y for yielded. Let us make the most of each day that we're given to live, because showing up matters, especially for ourselves. We have more coming up after this message.
Are you confident that you are the legal owner of your property? Take action to secure your property ownership. Get a registered certificate of title and become the legal owner of your property. To register your property and obtain a certificate of title, you will need to provide a tax registration number (TRN), a valid government-issued identification, a survey diagram, documentation to prove ownership, up-to-date property tax certificate, the names, addresses, and occupations of 2 neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf. Proof that you have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of the property for 12 years or more. For further information on registering your property and obtaining a certificate of title, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us at WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, January 7, 2026. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the government will be working to achieve greater reductions in the murder rate this year, even as the country marks a 31-year low in homicides for 2025. He says the objective of the government is for the country to attain peace.
So it is not just a matter of attaining security, meaning citizen security, public order, but to attain peace, which means that violence is not a first resort for the resolution of conflict. And we will be putting in place policies to ensure that Jamaica does attain peace as a country.
Preliminary figures indicate that the country recorded 673 murders last year, representing a 41% decline over 2024. This is also the lowest number recorded since 1994, when 690 homicides were recorded. Dr. Holness says the decline builds on the momentum of the past 2 years, when there was an almost 8% reduction in 2023, followed by an even sharper drop of 18.7% in 2024. Prime Minister Holness asserts that this development has decisively reset Jamaica's crime narrative.
We have cracked the psychological barrier of 1,000 murders per year, and we are firmly heading to attain the regional average, if not better the regional average, of 15 murders per 100,000. The objective of the government is for the country to attain peace.
Still active in the Hurricane Melissa recovery efforts, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is also reminding of the country's clear and present exposure to earthquakes. Director General Commander Alvin Gale is urging for building codes to be adhered to as efforts to rebuild more resilient continue. He says targeted focus and actions will be taken to ensure that persons involved in constructions obey the guidelines established by the municipal corporations and other relevant agencies responsible for building applications.
Jamaica has significant building codes and other processes in place to ensure that our building structures do stand up to earthquakes, and it is important that as we push the message for preparedness and mitigation in the back of our minds as we go through the post-Melissa recovery efforts, that we abide by these codes to ensure that Jamaica is more resilient going forward.
January is being observed as Earthquake Awareness Month, with a week of activities targeted for January 11 to 18 under the theme Resilient Jamaica, We Weather the Storm and Brace for the Shake. Commander Gale says this represents more than just a calendar event, as the country's geographical location makes it prone to a number of disasters such as drought, flooding, and hurricanes.
But also significantly, we are very much exposed to earthquakes based on where we sit on the tectonic plating around the Caribbean. It is not without much memory that we can recall some significant events in the past. History does hold quite a few significant earthquake events that would have reshaped our culture, reshaped our cities, and it is then important for us to recognize these events and also be prepared for when they come.
Commander Gale was speaking at a JIS think tank on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the earthquake unit recorded over 400 quakes in 2025, of which 122 were considered near the shores of Jamaica. The update was provided by scientific officer Carleen Black. She says 280 earthquakes were registered across the island, with 7 being felt across Portland, St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth, and St. Andrew.
So as you can tell from the parish distribution, all parishes across the island can experience earthquakes.
According to Ms. Black, persons rebuilding in the coastal areas that were affected by Hurricane Melissa are prone to the occurrence of liquefaction, which is caused by excessive shaking in areas with soft, sandy soil that are water saturated.
This phenomenon, if you do not do your foundations properly, could cause your homes and structures to sink or tilt. And so, as you build back, I would like you to also consider these things.
In the meantime, ODPEM says it will be strengthening awareness and mitigation efforts to broaden the reach and reinforce awareness of what to do before, during, and after an earthquake. Director General Commander Alvin Gale says activities for the week of January 11 to 18 will include a social media campaign, outside broadcast, as well as earthquake drills in schools and business places.
It is also important that we partner with those involved in the mitigation, the building code matters, and general preparation to ensure that Jamaica's population or children or businesses right across multi-sectoral agencies are able to recognize the effects and also be strictly prepared to engage their communities, engage the children, engage their workers, and the broader communities in being prepared, and also to look at the necessary actions to be taken during, before, and immediately after any earthquake event.
Commander Gale says last year, emergency response teams and shelter managers were trained and certified in earthquake-specific procedures. He asserts that Hurricane Melissa has reinforced the urgent need for preparedness, as the possibility exists that the country could be hit by a large earthquake. And finally, the first group of seasonal agricultural workers were dispatched to Canada on Tuesday for the 2026 Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. Of the 182 participants, 22 were traveling overseas for the first time. The workers will be assigned to farms across several Canadian provinces, including Ontario, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland. Over the next 8 months, they will be engaged in greenhouse operations as well as the cultivation of fruits and vegetables. Speaking at the send-off on Tuesday, Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr., highlighted the continued importance of the program, noting that overseas employment remained a critical pillar of national recovery and development.
Our reality is that the overseas employment program opportunities are now more than ever important. This program provides a reliable income stream that will help this country to recover, to rebuild, and I think in the long term, when you bring back those skills, it will help us to grow.
High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, His Excellency Mark Berman, reaffirmed Canada's commitment to the long-standing partnership, emphasizing the shared responsibility to ensure the program operates safely and fairly.
As we mark 60 years of partnership, it's fitting to celebrate this achievement and reaffirm our commitment to building on this legacy for decades more.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
The ministry charged with economic growth and infrastructure development in Jamaica was on a roll last year. Let's now get a recap of the top 5 major stories that we covered.
Never before, no other government has invested as much in our road infrastructure.
2025 was the year when the spark was truly lit for road projects. With the contract signed less than a month before the new year began, the 45 billion shared prosperity through accelerated improvement to our road network SPARK project was first on the ministry's list when the 2025 new year commenced. And within the new year, residents in several communities had new pavements to navigate.
We have been consistently exploring opportunities to create high-impact projects for the benefit of communities and the wider population. One of those high-impact projects is the Accelerated Rural Bridge Development Program, which is to install a range of permanent vehicular and pedestrian bridges in strategic areas.
The government signed a memorandum of understanding with UK Export Finance in January for the $100 million bridge program. The Rock, Ramble, Bushy Park and Rio Cobra irrigation canal bridges are just a few of the 55 to benefit. Marking the dawn of a new era of mobility, opportunity, and resilience for Portland, the Port Antonio Bypass began to take shape last year. Ground was broken in June for the $81 million project that spans Norwich to Turtle Harbour in the parish.
The bypass will span 7 kilometers with a 4-lane design and will provide an alternative route to ease congestion in Port Antonio.
It's expected to improve travel time and support regional economic growth in the parish.
In so doing, it will unlock new commercial zones, stimulate land development, and create room for expansion.
After more than a year out of full operation, resulting from damage caused by a severe weather event, the November 12 reopening of the Ocho Rios Cruise Port's main terminal was a big boon to tourism in 2025.
When Ocho Rios was down, a lot of the business from here went to Falmouth, right? And the Falmouth business picked up. Now it's flipped back the other way, right? So it shows the value in having diversity and having multiple ports, multiple berths. Every time we have damage as a result of weather events, we have to look to build back better and stronger.
Before Melissa did her worst and left an estimated $35 billion in damage to Jamaica's road infrastructure, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development was implementing mitigating measures. But this hurricane, one of the strongest ever recorded, proved devastating.
Melissa dealt a severe blow to our national road network and public infrastructure. The National Works Agency reports that 151 roads were impacted island-wide, with landslides, fallen trees, flooded corridors, covered pavements, and breakaways, rendering many communities temporarily inaccessible.
After the hurricane passed, the ministry took immediate action, clearing blocked roads to create access to marooned communities. Cabinet approved $5 billion for the National Works Agency to undertake emergency repairs to roads and gullies, reopen roads, and carry out drain cleaning activities. The ministry was subsequently allocated $7.2 billion for road infrastructure and procurement of 3,300 containerized housing units in a supplementary national budget brought to Parliament in December. Shortly after, a $1.6 billion graded overlay emergency road rehabilitation GO program was officially launched to deal with several critical corridors that were damaged by potholing and scoring during the hurricane.
Welcome to my new home.
As we move forward, we remain steadfast in our commitment to delivering on infrastructure works that serve the needs of every Jamaican.
Faced with choices that affect tomorrow, Jamaica is steering toward the one that best benefits us all, an electric future that drives hope for our planet.
Across the globe, electric vehicles are transforming how people move. And here in Jamaica, that shift is gaining traction, quietly, cleanly, and confidently. Electric vehicles are more than a trend. They're a response to rising fuel costs, climate change, and the push for energy independence. With government policy and private innovation aligning, the future is now.
That's why the government has taken decisive action. Our electric vehicle policy provides duty and GCT concession on EV and hybrid vehicles, and that is expanding our charging infrastructure island-wide. We are positioning electric mobility as a key part of the solution to Jamaica's energy and climate challenges. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, which falls under this ministry, introduced the country's electric buses last year, a milestone in public transport. These buses are cleaner, quieter, and more efficient and cost-effective, and we plan to scale that success island-wide.
From duty reductions to infrastructure rollouts, the government is paving the way for cleaner, greener roads.
So, electric vehicles are suitable for any kind of roads, really. Of course, Jamaica's roads are challenging for any kind of vehicle, mostly because of the uneven road surfaces and potholes. So, any kind of vehicle is going to go through more suspension parts, unfortunately, in Jamaica. But apart from that, electric vehicles are very well suited for a country like Jamaica because Jamaica has limited range requirements. So basically, a modern electric car can go the full length of Jamaica on a single charge. So in terms of range anxiety, which is often cited as a deterrent, we shouldn't have much range anxiety in Jamaica at all. With the arrival of more affordable electric vehicle brands like MG and BYD, you're starting to see a lot more full electric vehicles on the road. And I think that's making the public much more friendly or primed for that switch in going from a combustion engine to an electric motor. So I think every additional EV that you see on the road kind of warms up the Jamaican population to EVs and makes people more comfortable with the idea of going electric. Look at what has happened in the renewable energy market as kind of a similar pattern that you'll see in the EV market. I would say, 10, 15 years ago in Jamaica, it was a very small segment of the population that was beginning to install solar at their home or their business. Now you're seeing solar power becoming almost conventional. Most businesses and homeowners are looking at solar because it's a proven way to reduce your energy costs. I think the EV market is probably 10 years behind the solar market, and you'll see many more people adopting EVs once people realize that there's enormous cost savings.
Locally based suppliers are partnering with global EV leaders, bringing modern mobility options closer to home.
Benefits also include maintenance, right? Given that our EV is here, you only maintain it once a year. That's one crucial factor of it, which reduces cost of ownership, all right? And another factor is reliability. So less moving parts equals, less needing to go ahead and change out anything, any worries, oils, all of that stuff. And it's also beneficial for the environment. If we're talking about the average Jamaican lifestyle, it is installed in your home. In terms of the charging station, you have that already available. The other factor is, in partnership with the JPS and Evergo, you have destination charging stations right across Jamaica, able to get you up to 80% in 15 minutes. Especially with the gas prices fluctuating here and there, people are actually finding themselves a bit more challenged. So you find yourself spending approximately, call it, over $34,000 a month, when you could actually be spending up to $10,000 or less per month.
Clean, smart, forward-thinking, electric vehicles are here, and Jamaica is ready. The future is not coming, it's already charging.
In 2025, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development provided for the indigent and homeless, upgraded markets, and supported economic activity. And when disaster struck, it was there to render relief and help lead rebuilding. Don't miss the Year in Review, coming to you on this station, inside Jamaica Magazine, January 8, 2026.
The way in which you handle food to serve yourself should always be of importance. But the conversation gets even more serious when we talk about handling food to serve others. Whether you're a street vendor or preparing food in an establishment, safety should always be a top priority. Don't have your food handler's permit? Don't you worry. Here's how to obtain it.
Juicy, buy a juice from me now.
A cool bag juice sounds just about right, but do you have a permit? Whether you're selling juice on the corner, baking gizadas at home, or running a full-service restaurant, there's one thing every food operator in Jamaica must have: a food handler's permit. Issued under the Public Health Food Handling Regulations, this permit is mandatory for anyone involved in preparing, serving, transporting, or handling food across the island. And here's why.
It means that you would be in conformance with the Public Health Food Handling Regulations. And so it is important that persons make their application so that they can get the requisite training in an effort to ensure that the foods that are offered to the public are safe, wholesome, and free from any form of contamination.
So, how do you apply for a food handler's permit? It's easier than you might think.
It is quite simple. It's a simple process. You would need to complete the prescribed application form. You would also be required to submit 2 passport-size photographs. In addition, you are expected to pay the requisite application fee, which is $500. You will be given an appointment date and time to visit one of our venues for the training session, to be interviewed and to sit a test.
For applicants in the Southeast Regional Health Authority parishes, a TRN may also be needed for tracking your application.
The persons who apply for food handlers permits would normally be screened. A series of questions would be asked for the health interview, and this is to ascertain the health status of the applicants, because anyone who acquires a food handler's permit would be deemed to be fit and proper to handle food, prepare food, serve food for human consumption. And as such, these persons have to meet the requirements on the medical interview. Once you are successful in completing the process, then you'll be able to get your food handler's permit. On average, it would normally take 6 weeks or thereabout from application to acquiring the food handler's permit. In some cases, particularly in the other parishes outside of Southeast, it would take a much shorter period of time. However, it can take longer whenever we have challenges, but we try our endeavor best to ensure that employers who need to know that their employees have completed the process successfully are provided with a letter which is temporary.
My food handler's permit does help me, because when I do events like these, or even when I go to like Hope Gardens, first thing first, the public health inspector come around, "Hey chef, you have your food handlers?" I say, "Yes man, here it is," and I pop it out just like this and show them my food handlers is up to date, legit and ready to go.
The inspectors are required to monitor food handling establishments at least twice yearly. We would normally certify the businesses, and once the businesses are certified, then we would do an additional assessment or inspection to ensure that they are operating in accordance with the public health food handling regulations. But you have to bear in mind too that resources are limited, and as such we have to do risk ranking, where we focus and monitor more frequently high risk operations, medium risk operations. For low risk operations, they are not neglected, they are also monitored, but certainly not as frequently as we would monitor high risk and medium risk operations.
We've come to the end of today's show, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another lineup focused on keeping you informed about the government's policies and initiatives aimed at building a better Jamaica. You can visit our website at jis.gov.jm to rewatch this program or catch up on the others available on the site. I'm Theodore Henry, saying thanks for watching from our production team here at the JIS.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.